All right, welcome back. And wasn't that a lovely time? We are going to have another great time here with our next interview, our penultimate interview. So stay tuned. We have got brand new industry guests here. We've got Hanna and Johnny Liu, and they're going to be talking to the stellar Rigs of Color team. I'm going to let them take it away.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. Start with the first question.
Sure. An easy one. What are the rigs of color?
So we wanted to make character rigs that are based off of people of color because a lot of the libraries that have rigs online often don't have people of color. Most of the characters are either white or are monsters and stuff like that. So in order to create more diversity for like animation students and animators, we wanted to make 3D character models that were more diverse.
Yeah, so it's a continuation of a project from last year, and it just aims to make ethnically diverse characters available for animation students.
Face any unique challenges while doing these rigs?
Yeah, we kind of started off our project making sure that we were doing a lot of research about biases, stereotypes, all sorts of stuff like that to try and prevent those types of things from happening. A lot of research on facial forms in different regions, what makes a character interesting, and how we can apply all these things equally.
What are some of the most interesting findings from the process?
I think it was interesting to find out what sort of stereotypes are seen in media and what you need to make sure you're not reinforcing. What kind of you don't want to leave a bad taste in anyone's mouth. You don't want someone to think, oh, I don't like the way I was portrayed or the way that my nationality was portrayed. So it's really just important to work around everything that could be offensive and really take into consideration people's opinions and thoughts and feelings.
So I think I have a sneak peek because I saw the project ahead of time, but so just walk us through what did you do?
So we started out with concepts, and we either got art from artists or online, or we made it ourselves. And then we picked out around 9 characters, and then we started by blocking out the bodies, and then after we created the bodies, we moved on to stuff like clothing and hair, and then when everything modeling wise was done, we painted the models to make them sort of complete them.
And we've started the process of bringing them into a retopology program to just make them clean and ready to use.
Good, nice and fresh.
Yes.
So I noticed some of the rigs you also varied body types, and my understanding of animation and skeletal rigging is that every body type animates differently. Was there any particular thing that you had to do to set up these different body types so that other people can come in the future and also reuse them to then build other rigs around it?
So the rigging process is part of our sister team. We just make the actual models, but the models are definitely differently, each model has a different shape and a different form, but that tool can be used for each form and different body types.
Work with lighting around the model as well?
Just for a few renders.
Just for a few renders?
Yeah.
Were there any particular challenges when you...
KeyShot's a hell of a tool. It makes it a lot easier than bringing it and trying to figure out the lighting in Maya or anything. It rotates.
So you said that part of the process was like you block it out and then you refine it and then you add in some of more of the details, like there's some clothes that you was thought that modeling hair is like a possibility. How did you guys do that?
So what I did, and our methods were a little bit different. What I did was create a sort of like a wig cap kind of shape on the character's head, and then make little chunks of hair by moving shapes around and like carving into them and stuff like that. And then I would put all the chunks together, or I would duplicate them to sort of like build like a full head of hair using like just like little chunks.
Okay.
So that's for like a few of my characters, and then also I had a different kind of stylized approach where I would make the general form of like if I were to have a bob, I would make a shape like the bob, and then I'd use the inflate tool to make curls, and then go in and fine detail like a stylized curl for each area.
What was your favorite part of working on this project?
I love the concept art, making characters with like interesting outfits and designing like a whole piece of art was really fun for me.
For me, it was probably modeling the bodies. I liked to explore different body types, and I noticed that I have difficulty drawing thin characters in 2D, but it was easier to do it in 3D. It was interesting to me because it let me practice my 2D anatomy by modeling skinnier people. So it was a lot of fun to create different body types.
It's interesting that in 3D, you found like a path to learn about the anatomy, but
Yeah.
there's a different way of looking at it and stuff.
Our graduate student who's been working with us, like just making sure our anatomy is correct and stuff, has been really helpful with making sure that like the bodies like make sense, and that's been really great to refine our 2D art, at least in my opinion. Yeah, it's just been great.
Yeah, it's getting better.
So you mentioned earlier that this project is a continuation from a previous project. Was the previous project also kind of Rings of Color?
Yeah.
Okay. And would you have any words for future students who may want to continue this project? Because this is great work. This is important work.
Yes. If you're planning on like working through projects like this or through this project, just keep making really interesting designs. Do a lot of research before you start designing a character, and block out. It makes life so much easier moving forward. You'll thank yourself later.
Yeah. So a big part of the project was finding the best way to create a model, because the way that I used to do it, it took a very long time to make a body. It would take hours and hours. But by using the blockout method, we kind of figured out how to make models really quickly, at least the bodies really quickly, and then we can dedicate more time to the detailed part of the models.
Did you leave notes for them? Documentation?
Our paper did have like a huge documentation.
Yeah, our paper is definitely a lot of tutorials on how to do things.
Documentation is very important.
Yes, anything. The whole paper is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So what are your plans like I guess kind of following like you said, if you could tell them something, like what would you hope that they do beyond what you guys have done? If they could repeat your project, that'd be great, but like pushing forward, like what's next for the project?
I think that taking the knowledge that we've gained from this process, just really pushing it past the texturing point and making sure that topology gets done quickly, and that they just have the whole process to dates, like they get deadlines and stuff, and making sure they're working throughout the whole thing will be really great.
Yeah, the initial scope of our project was a little bit larger than what we managed to deliver. And we wanted to create 9 characters each and then have them retopologized and then textured. And that would have taken a very long time, especially since in A term, that's when we sort of figured out how to model characters. So I guess establishing better deadlines is a really important step if you're going to reach the retopology and remapping stage.
Definitely.
Well, it's impressive being able to pull
Yeah.
any characters. As somebody who does not know my way around that kind of stuff, it's
Yeah.
really impressive.
It's very impressive. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.